you will. And we are here in the car because we have just watched the movie Venom, Let There Be Carnage. And I wanted to record our thoughts for the world, so I'm going to do that now at the start of this video, so that when you people find this on YouTube, I'm going to tell you a few things. 1, yes, the movie is good. 2, this is a spoilerific review. 3, go see this movie at the movie theater. Do that. It's better at the movie house. Now I'm going to give you some brief thoughts, then I'll cut to Gourmand, and we'll go back and forth. So the first thing I want to talk about in the movie is the actors. I liked all the actors for the main roles of the character. I'll get into more detail eventually on that. This will be a medium discussion for length, I would like to think. But the casting of Carnage, excellent. The casting of Shriek, now that's something people are going to talk about. I'll get a little detail on that last. But just to give you the quick view, that lady was great. The detective from the first movie who returned in the second movie, who's a very important character if you know his name and where that goes in the comic book lore for Venom. Excellent. Good. The returning characters are the returning characters. They're fine. I've never had a problem with the actor for Venom in the Sony Venom. Never had that problem. I never had a problem with a lot of that stuff. Brief summation of like the plot stood out to me. The things that just jump off the page at you. I'll say 3 things that I'll cut to Gourmand. 1, the plot is actually good. It follows the comic book somewhat as far as the places and the people. They modernly updated a little bit, but I like how they do it. They keep it as true to form as possible. 2, the original plot from the comic book for Maximum Carnage is long. It's very long and drawn out. So they kind of speed through it. But I mean, they got 90 minutes plus? Like, what do you get, 120 minutes? Like, you gotta get to where you're going to. And 3, before I cut to Gourmand, is the way the characters interact with each other. I liked how Venom was a talking head, but he wasn't. I liked how, and most importantly, the number one thing I actually liked in the movie, believe it or not, and this will sound kind of cheesy, but it's not. I liked how Cletus Cassidy actually liked Shriek, like they were in love. Like that actually and that was like part of the central plot of the movie, that these two individuals actually were deeply, madly in love with each other, and it mattered. And it wasn't like just a throwaway thing, like, oh, we're just, because Carnage is not a Joker ripoff. For all you people who just know the lore, he's not. He's very much not. Also, Shriek is not a Harley Quinn ripoff. She actually predates Harley Quinn, if you look it up. So it's not one of those. And in the actual Maximum Carnage storyline, they were together, but it was a little ambiguous if they were lovers or not. I like the fact, they kiss in the movie. They have intimate moments. One of the big plot points is there's a wedding. Towards the end, they have, this wedding, and it's, a big deal. It's a very big deal. Like I said, we'll get more into that, but I'll cut to Gourmand. What are the 3 things that stood out to you most in this movie?
Yeah, the character interactions are really great in this. So I'm a sucker for witty banter, right? I love me some Spider-Man. I love just the back and forth type of banter. And this movie has that all over the place. All of the main characters are talkers. And so it's great. Let's see.
Two. What's the second thing? So the first thing that jumped out at you was the dialogue. What's the second thing that jumped out at you?
So for the most part, it's very well shot. There's some stuff where I have exceptions, but we'll get to that, I guess.
Yeah, we'll go into detail after you get the three things. So it was the visuals, the audio, the dialogue, and the visuals. What's the third thing that just jumped off the page at you? It's like one of the most unforgettable things in this movie.
I think it's just a good plot. You're right. It's got just a really good plot to it.
The plot, yeah. So to get in a little bit of detail, I'm a Marvel head. Like, comic books are a thing for me. I'll date myself. I'm a 90s kid, so I just recently had a birthday, and I'm in my mid-30s, so, like, I read all that Maximum Carnage, Spider-Man, Venom. I was a Venom. The reason I liked Venom as a kid, as an actual character, was I was also a Spawn. And those two guys reminded me of each other. So once I started getting into Spawn, because my brother, he liked Image, comic books. Damn near anything Rob Liefeld ever drew. And he also liked the Max and things like that, so I got into Spawn, and then Spawn and Carnage reminded me of Spawn, so vice versa. Plus video games and things I'm known for, fighting games and stuff, those characters, you know. So he jumped off the page. So this was a movie I was going to go see in the first place. I didn't get an actual chance to see the first one. That's my backstory on those guys. So we all know that debacle in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man Venom movie, where Venom was basically shoehorned in what otherwise would have been a very good movie, in my opinion. The Sandman character was great because of his tragic backstory. That's another opinion. But just the uncontrollable nature of, like, Eddie Brock and Venom being, like, this odd couple of, like, this messy guy who just wants to, like, be a wild animal, and then, you know, Eddie Brock who's just, like, wants to be halfway normal and just live within humanity and doesn't really want to be a superhero and doesn't want to do all these things. That's great. Like, it makes sense. Like, they try to coexist, but Eddie Brock isn't quite sure what he wants to do with his life per se, but he's still being a journalist and like a reporter and stuff like that. And Venom even helps him. Like, Venom even says, I'm gonna help you with this because I just want us to be, like, great. So he actually, like, helps the characters. He actually helps him. Like, he finds a bunch of important details and, like, here, I found all the clues. Like, and Venom gets completely fed up with him because he doesn't want to do anything in, like, a forward moving direction, which is really cool. I'm not gonna go over the entire plot of the movie. This is just, like, our reaction in the moment to it. So, yeah, the interaction between Eddie Brock and Venom was great. The girlfriend from the last movie who ends up getting married in this one to, like, some other guy.
I mean, they didn't actually get married. They're engaged.
Right, but she's going to get married to this other guy?
Yeah.
They didn't make him, like, the typical, like, stuck-up, you know, prissy prance, like, not really a man kind of thing where he's just, like, useless. He's not macho, he's not feminine, he's not anything that's like assertive in a relationship, right? Like, he's not either side of a relationship. They always make those characters usually look weak and inept in the face of, like, the macho hero type, right? They do that, and, you know, and sometimes they do that. He wasn't, like, a useless character. He was kind of just like what is going on? This is weird. Aliens are crazy. Like, he's just a freaked out person, like most people would be. Like, you know, and they usually stereotype those characters as being really ineffective and useless. And then you wonder, well, why is she going with the hero and she's now with this other guy? Well, he's stable, blah, blah, blah. No, this guy was stable, but he wasn't, like I said, just a typecast. Tom Hardy's the guy who played Venom. Woody Harrelson, that's the guy who played... Yeah. 100%. He did it. People back in the day always wanted Jim Carrey to play Carnage. No, this guy did it. Woody Harrelson was perfect. Absolutely 100% spot on. Like... And they didn't do things in the movie that made you want to think, like, why is he doing this? There's no purpose. What's this? What's that? Like he's not just a senseless, mindless killer. Like, he killed some people for attention, And then he just did and he had a purpose, like that backstory, like when they went with the plot. For example, one of the things he wanted to do was go and rescue Shriek from like this horrible place she was in, right? And he checked to see if she was even alive first, right? And after finding out he's alive, he like dresses himself up really nice. You know what I'm saying? Because he wants to see her and he doesn't want to look like a guy who just escaped a prison. Like, he wants to actually look nice. And he found a car. And they showed backstory about how those two were like in the orphanage together. And they had a history, like they knew each other. And they would talk to each other through like the pipes, and they had this whole thing. So it wasn't just like I just met this person and I have a crush on them. And I hadn't kind of known. No, they actually had like a history. Like there was a part where they showed like their names carved on a tree, and they were like boyfriend and girlfriend like the whole time. Like they actually were gonna do the thing. So, and he makes Carnage, Woody Harrelson, Cleese Cassidy makes like this little ring for her out of like cloth, right? And he gives it to her, and she still has it throughout the whole thing, and she's like, "Oh my God," And like there's parts in the movie where Carnage, the symbiote, that's while he's on Cletus Cassidy, actually hurts her. Like he smacks her around, and Cletus flips out whilst inside of Carnage, going, "What are you doing?" Like, no. That all right, you're crossing the line, buddy. Like, whoa, that's our wife. She knows what she's doing. Like, she's not going to intentionally hurt us. Like, what are you doing? Because Shriek's voice powers can totally like just destroy symbiote, because she has a literal like the siren's call, right? And as you know, symbiotes can't stand sound waves like that. So she could have obliterated this guy. So when she does that, Carnage flips out and like smacks her away, and he's like, "What are you doing? Like that's my wife." Like he flat out calls her his wife. Like that's not gonna happen. Like no. He really starts drawing the line on Carnage when like she gets involved, and he's like, "If she does that again, I'm gonna wring her neck." And he's like, "The hell you will." And then there's a part where like Carnage gets uppity with her. And she goes, "You ain't talking to me like that. I don't care who you think you are, you weird alien, whatever you are. Like, you're not going to talk to me like that." And that's what people would do. Also, they were both absolutely batshit nuts. And that was good, too. Originally in the comic books, before anybody does any stupid stuff, I'm going to address the bullshit. And there's a little bullshit. So people were like, they made Shriek black, blah, blah, blah. So, let me tell you what Shriek's race was in the actual comic books for anybody who knows. Blue. She was white. She's the same color as the original Domino, who also, they made a black lady in the movies. She had white skin and blue hair. And I mean white as in like paper. Like, she was not a white lady. She was blue. Like, this lady had no race. She was a mutant, like an X-person. She was out here looking like Mystique and those people. Like, she had no discernible, like, natural human race. So she could have been any race. And the actress they got, that's the lady that played Calypso in
Yep.
Yeah, the lady that played Calypso, I'm not good with
Naomi something or
something, yeah. But she played Calypso in the Parts of the Caribbean franchise. She did an excellent job as Shriek. Absolutely excellent. She had motivations. Every character in the movie had some kind of motivation. All the main characters and even the tertiary characters. Like the detective, I don't want to call him McGillicuddy because that's what it was, but it was like one of those types of names.
Mulligan?
Yeah, Mulligan, Detective Mulligan, yeah. He becomes, if you know the comic books, he becomes one of the symbiote characters. And he becomes like kind of sort of a superhero, per se. And he's kind of like doing a classic, like, I'm under you, Eddie Brock. Like, something's not right. You might be a superhero type of deal. And that worked. Because the actor who played him was, like, good. And they all felt New York. Like, they all had that, like, East Coast, like, vibe. Like, this could have been Boston. I'm not exactly sure where they say this.
San Francisco.
Is it? They felt East Coast. A lot of the people felt very East Coast to me.
I mean, they had multiple shots of the bridge.
They did. See, details. Not smart. But, like, those things...
Also, Cletus his death row, he was explicitly in San Quentin.
That's right, and that was a plot point. They made a big plot. He sings a song, and he talks about how he eats the warden at the end, and he did. Because he one of the things the warden tells him is, "Ain't last words, Cletus?" And then when he's at Carnage and he's going to kill the warden as he's making a mistake, he goes, "Yeah, ain't last words, Mr. Warden?" And he, like, offs the dude, which was cool. Like, he went nuts on people. This movie was graphic to a point. Like, it was more graphic than your standard Marvel fare.
Yes.
Like, you saw people get, like, impaled and, like, scratched and, like, their heads got lopped off and things like that.
Eyes gouged out.
Yeah, eyes gouged out. That was a big deal. Yeah, no, that was all. So that's kind of some of my just blatant thoughts about the movie before anybody complains about random nonsense. But, yeah. So...
Hello. We have a viewer.
Oh, cool. Shout out to the viewer. This is a stream. We're streaming live on Twitch on B_Gourmand with an E.
So I'm going to say this now, after you've been talking all this time.
Uh-huh.
I don't have a way to 100% verify the audio with this setup, so...
We could be talking and nobody could hear?
It's possible.
Gosh darn it.
I'll know afterwards, and then if it is, we can possibly record this tomorrow, but...
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, miscellaneous thoughts about the movie.
So, I'm going to say straight up, 8 out of 10, would watch again.
Oh, yeah.
I probably wouldn't see it in a theater again if I were the one arranging it. But if someone said, hey, we're going to go see Venom, I would jump on it.
Even if you saw it once already, you'd go see it with other people just to see how they felt about it?
Yeah. But, like, it's not something I would see multiple times myself unprompted.
Right, I got you. So, another question I got for you. Also, that might be the one viewer bot. I hope you're not, but if you're a viewer, give us a shout. I'd say hi in the chat. But,
It could be Nightbot. I usually have Nightbot set up, so...
I also have Nightbot, and sometimes that procs a one viewer thing, so... But yeah, if you're there and you're listening, please give us a shout so we know our audio is good. But yeah, you were saying?
So, I wanted to get that out of the way because I'm about to get into kvetching.
Okay, yeah. 100% go.
So, I'm very particular about my action scenes, and that just has to do with how I process things.
Sure.
The plotting of the action scenes, you know, how they were arranged, was really good. But they were doing a lot of these fast cuts, and it made it really hard to follow the details.
Yeah.
For me.
Okay.
Like...
But this is an opinion piece, so go ahead.
But yeah, I generally don't like super close-up fast cuts, and there was a lot of that, specifically in the last, section in the church with the Venom and Carnage. There was a lot of these close-up fast cuts, and the wider action scenes where, like, they were doing these wide shots were really well done. But, like, whenever they got super close, it became difficult for me to follow.
Yeah, I can see that. I was okay with it, but I can see where you're going with that.
I mean, I could pick out the general plot, and, plot-wise, it was really well done. Right? Even, like, in between action scenes, like, or within the whole, like, thing, the whole sequence of action scenes, they were all really well arranged, and it's like really well done duet with counterpoint.
Sure, okay, yeah.
where two people are singing over each other in different lines, but like
I get it, like a play, like a Broadway deal.
but not with singing, with fight scenes, basically, because they were switching up between Venom and Carnage and all the other characters that were around, the policeman, Shriek, and they were changing partners. It was all very musical and dancey.
Yeah, it was done up. It was a movie. It felt like a movie.
It does have the same issue the original Venom had, where it had a fairly slow start. So it's not to the normal Marvel formula, right? Because this wasn't done by the same people. Exactly.
Right.
So the normal Marvel formula has some action kicking you off early.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie actually took a bit to get to that part. All of the stuff that was there before that was really good stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's where this differs from the previous Venom movie. I
Right.
would say that the slow parts of the previous Venom movie, while they were important for building up backstory for all the various characters, they weren't that good in the original Venom.
Would you say it dragged?
Yeah, for about a third of it.
Yeah.
This one would too, except it's really interesting also. So it's not a drag, it's more, there's just a incongruity with the pacing. The first 40 minutes felt longer than the last 80 minutes.
That's probably a good thing though, because the movie had a big. Oh, also not to spoil the ending, but to kind of talk about it, the movie finished big. They put like a stamp on some stuff. Since we're doing spoilers anyways, yeah, I don't want to spoil the ending of the movie, but they ended it on like, no, this character is this and that character is that, and you know who this person is, you know what this is gonna happen next. I just don't want to say the actual ending, because there's like you could say like this person did that and you could like completely ruin it. So somebody might want to go say, like, I don't want to say who lives and who dies and who shows who's gonna come back and who's not.
Okay.
I don't want to say that, because that would be kind of that, but you do find out.
I mean, for at least one of those, you didn't actually see a body.
No, you didn't. But for one of them, you did. For one of them, you saw their head get turned off their body.
Yeah.
And the line Venom said in the little bit of vulgarity, he said, F this dude, and he bit his head clean off of his body, and you saw that. Like, they let you know, this dude was decapitated.
Yep.
Yeah, this dude was gone. He's gone. So they're probably not going to bring that back.
Well, they gave themselves a loophole.
A little bit, but, like, they'd have to really want to.
Yeah, they'd have to really want to.
They'd have to really want to, and there would be some, like, BS.
Like, they tried to make it final, but then there's some BS towards the end where they've got loopholes now.
Yeah, there's one after credit scene. I'm not going to say what that is either. I mean, you can go other places on the net to find that out. I don't want to spoil the whole thing if you do want to go see this movie. Mild spoilers, I guess. But, like, yeah, there is one and just one after credit scene. It's a doozy. If you know what you're looking at, it's a bit of a doozy. I kind of know the backstory. I'm a spoilerific person, so I kind of know why things are the way that they are. But yeah, no, it's a bit of a doozy. Like, they do some weird stuff. I'll just say this. They solved some of the issues of why Venom doesn't have that white part on his chest, like in the comic books. They fixed that. How you have to find out. But yeah, so like, so you gave it an 8 out of 10?
Yeah, but thinking about my actual reaction, it probably should have been 7, but like some people might think 7 is bad and 7's not bad.
No, 7's pretty good. I think 7's pretty good. I also give it a 7. We did go and see Shang-Chi with a bunch of our friends. We didn't do a review like this for that, but that movie was better. I'll just say it. In my opinion, Shang-Chi was like an 8, and this is a 7. But that's not saying they're not both. A 7 it means go see it. And like we both said, would you agree that you got to see this in an actual big screen movie house? It makes the experience better. I would say so.
I think. I have to think.
Would you rather see it here or at home?
I would rather see it here. However, if you've got a top-notch sound system, I think that's the big thing you'd be missing out on is the soundscape. It's while it's not super important, all the background sounds in this movie are like having the big sound is good for this movie.
Well, you said something I agree with earlier, that the visuals was a big thing, right? And I think those visuals are better served on a big, ginormous screen. Like, there's some shots in this movie where, like, for example, you see Carnage, and Carnage is, like, this full luster. Like, they give Carnage, like, this big, wide, full, double page, full panel, like, big, like, look at me, I'm Carnage, and I'm gonna kill everything. They do that twice in the movie. The second time they do it, you can only get that in the movie house. Because there's no way nobody has a visual that good. You can only get that in the movie house. When they were in a church, and he had that big multicolored...
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was so good. The second time was when he was when he was escaping from prison. He does the tornado. I can't think of anybody's TV, not one that we got in the place we stay at or anywhere else that could do that is justice in the same way the movie house could.
I don't know. I think it would be almost as impressive on Cranberry's TV.
Well, that guy's got like a 110-inch projector, so let's not rob the people of context here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
put a message in the comments if you have a 110-inch canvas projector at your house. All right. I mean, yes, we have a friend that
it wasn't canvas; it was rear projection.
Semantics.
Yeah.
Semantics.
Actually, it might not have even been rear projection. It was probably an OLED panel, but.
He had a projector that was projecting on a giant wall that was 110 inches across. I know because that's about the size that most of those projectors that I saw the one he was using usually goes for. That's one of the sizes you can choose because you have a range of choices, and there's a 110-inch one, and I'm pretty sure that's what he was using. It's a pretty safe bet. It could have been bigger, it could have been smaller. But yeah, there's a guy we know damn near has a movie theater in his house. That's neither here nor there. This movie is better served in the movie house. You gotta go see it. How do we know this? We went to our friend Cranberry's house, who's also a member of B&B. We saw Suicide Squad there, which I'm actually glad I didn't see in the movie house, because in that movie particularly, although that was a good movie in my opinion, I wouldn't have gone to see that in the movie house. Like, I don't think it would have mattered. There's maybe one scene, and the reason I say that is because the biggest scene that...
Spoilers for Suicide Squad.
Oh, yeah. The biggest scene was towards the end. That was the one scene that the movie house would have, like, enhanced was towards the end. But in this movie, there's a lot of scape and scope. And you get to see how big things are. There's a lot of buildings. Like, Venom climbs buildings and goes through and jumps around and goes... All these dynamic scenes where he's doing all these dynamic things. That's, in my opinion, what makes a movie house thing better.
So, one name I saw in the credits that I didn't know going into this. Do you know who directed this?
It's Andy Serkis.
Yep.
Yeah. He did the last one, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know he directed.
Yeah, he's directed a few things, man. A list. Yeah, look up that guy's IMDb credit one of these days. You'll be surprised. Andy Serkis is legit.
Okay.
Yeah. And no, this was This was a big bounce back for this franchise because I actually give the first Venom movie like a 5.
Yeah, 5 or 4.
The reason I give it a 5 is like, I'm a comic book nerd and I thought I knew who Riot was, but like, post in the comments if you knew if you really cared about the plot of the first Venom movie, other than I just want to see Venom do Venom things on the big screen because that's new.
It did deliver on Venom doing Venom things on the big screen.
Right, but that means the plot is inconsequential.
Oh yeah, the plot is totally inconsequential.
That's my point. Like, my point is that, yeah, we went to see this movie because there's a Venom feature film and we haven't seen one yet. That's it. Oh, and you kind of sort of saw one, if not for the brief moments that freaking Eric Foreman was the goddamn Venom for a little bit. Because he was. The guy who plays that guy. He was Venom in the what's-name movie. In the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. No, that's not Tobey Maguire. That was Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
And
Andrew Garfield.
And Sandman was 10 times better. And what even sucks even worse is there was 2 shape-shifting villains in that movie. No, Sandman was awesome in that movie. Like, they played up the part where, like, Sandman reluctantly got superpowers.
So now you're talking about the Tobey Maguire one.
Yeah, that's the one I meant to talk about.
Okay.
That's why I was confused, because there's like 3 different Spider-Mans. But the point is...
Yeah.
Yeah, the one with Sandman in it. The Sony one. The one with Sandman in it.
Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man 3. Tobey Maguire is... Yeah.
Yeah, that movie was good. That's all I'm saying. This movie is also good. Yeah, they're gonna do stuff with Venom. We'll see Venom again. I don't know if they're gonna make a Venom 3, but we're gonna see Venom again. Oh, I'm almost 100% we're gonna see Venom again.
Yep.
I would be remiss if we didn't. That would stink. No, but yeah, like I said, my favorite actual part of this movie is the plot. The characters at no point felt dry. And by dry, I mean, like, why are we all here? They had purpose. They felt like... It felt like people in a way, right? They humanized a lot of this stuff to where, like... Yeah, Cletus Cassidy's a killer. But he's not your, like, typical, like, weirdo psychopath where it's just, like, I have no motivations. At all. Like, he had a lot of motivations. And at times even came off cool. Which is like, you didn't expect that out of Cletus Cassidy, because in the comic books, that guy never came off as cool. He came off as like a Joker, where it's just like, I'm just chaos for the sake of chaos. No, they made this guy cool. They made him actually cool. Like, he did some neat, cool things. So Carnage was 100% why you go to see this movie, because you're like, oh my God, it's Carnage, and yeah, he delivered.
Yep.
Carnage totally delivered.
Yeah.
Like,
really good.
Yeah.
Shriek was really good.
Oh, yeah. All the comic book characters were great. Shriek was amazing. She shrieked. Like, Shriek actually shrieked, and it was, like, not stupid. Like, you expected Shriek to, like, oh, she's just gonna shriek and, like, do something dumb. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, we talked about this before. All the characters were good.
Yeah, it's not X-Men First Class with Homeboy flying because of his voice. No, it's not Banshee out here. No, Shriek was as badass as she was in the comic books. All right, final thoughts.
Drop the mic like Venom in the club.
Yeah, Venom drops the mic in this movie. My final thoughts are, if I haven't said them, go see this movie in the theater. Do it.
Okay.
Don't rob yourself for that experience. It's worth it.
Okay.
All right, that's us. We're going to close up shop here. Please like, share, and subscribe to this video. It is going to go up on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, Bread and Butter. What's the name of our YouTube channel again?
Bread and Butter MKE. One word.
Yeah, one word. Bread and Butter MKE, one word. That's where you can find this review. Yeah, like, share, and subscribe. Follow my man's Gourmand on the Gourmand's channel.
Dude.
Sorry. Yeah, follow Gourmand on Gourmand's channel, which is where we record this. Follow myself on my channel, twitch.tv/BNB_V8. twitch.tv/BNB_Gourmand with the E. Yeah, you'll totally enjoy her stream. You'll enjoy my stream. I stream every day. Gourmand streams when Gourmand wants to stream, I guess. I don't know Gourmand's schedule, but yeah, follow all those people. Follow Soft Serve Sultan also on YouTube. You'll see a couple of cool things there. And yeah, y'all have a good time. Go see this movie. It was good. Go see Venom with Carnage.
Okay. Good night, everybody. Streaming.